there's a strong correlation between people who have pathological behaviors, specifically where people feel entitled or like they're better than you, or they have sexual deviancy. And there's a strong correlation between those two patterns of behavior and religiosity, specifically where people tend to go on tangents and start to preach at you. And I call it the Luther King syndrome. No disrespect. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. I've been counseling women and men who have experienced abuse as well as those who've been perpetrators of abuse. One of the things that I've noticed over the years is that people with strong personality disorder traits or personality disorders, or sexual deviancy behaviors tend to go through this phase where they are hyper religious, at least outwardly facing to the public. And so they go through this phase where they are such a good Christian, they're a martyr for the people, and they tend to give these grand speeches cloaked in religion and, God this and God that, and, you're not being a good enough Christian. And they could use it in a condescending way and have this sort of condescending tone where they're almost trying to preach at you, punish you through the eyes of God, or they're trying to say that you're not a good enough Christian, you're not following the word of God. And so they can be like this Bible thumper, with the public and be a total demon, for lack of better wording, behind closed doors where they can become abusive. They struggle with alcoholism or other substance abuse, or they struggle with sexual addiction or sexual deviance. And it's because these people, there's a couple of things that I've always noticed, that people that have conflicts with their sexuality or they're struggling with some sexual trauma, which again is usually leads to a conflict with sexuality, almost always have a conflict with God if they're spiritual and they believe in God. In my experience, there's a strong link between struggles with sex and sexuality, God, and money. Those three things are usually almost always tied together. There is also people who just sort of use God as another weapon to form against others. Do as I say, not do as I do, because I'm above you. And I see myself as being like God or a God of some sort, to where everyone who is around me needs to get their ass in line and follow me because I am the leader. And I've seen this Luther King syndrome where people become all preachy and have questionable characters on a couple of clips here recently on TikTok. But I won't say, I don't know if I'll give the names of the shows or say the names. I'll kind of pass. But they're two Black shows. They're fairly popular, and they've been around for a little bit. But two characters I've noticed that kind of go on these preachy tangents and things of that nature. So always be on the lookout for that. And just because someone preaches the word of God does not mean that they are truly about God. And usually in my experience, when people take it as an opportunity to preach at you, usually that is a deflection from their own demons and their own character, and they're being very performative to try and prove that they are someone that they are not. I hope that helps. Let me know what you guys think about that. And if you like what you hear on my TikTok, please be sure to check out my podcast called A Date with Darkness. It's across all platforms, including YouTube and Apple Podcasts, iHeart, and all the platforms. Check it out. It's linked in my bio. And if you want to be kept up to date with me, things that I'm going to be offering soon, and you want to, you want a chance to maybe work with me, be sure to sign up for my newsletter in the community that I will be opening soon. Also linked in my bio. Thanks so much.